You know, something I'm wondering now is how common is it to be balding in your late 30s? Like to progressively start balding in your late 30s. I was reading through the comments and someone had said that that's when either their dad or they themselves started balding in their late 30s. And that just got me thinking, if anything, I could put myself in that category. It's not so much the hairline as much as it is the diffuse thinning. My hair has to be a certain length in order to hide that fact ultimately. And of course, based on my own hair loss theory that teaches that most men, if they're going to be balding, are going to already have been showing major signs of that by age 35. But for me, with 35, I was showing some diffuse thinning, which really kicked in noticeably around age 30. That's when I first started noticing it. But the jury's still out. I mean, I'm 2.5 years away from turning 40. I could arguably be bald by 40. Or it may take the rest of my 40s to lose a hair. But for the most part, I think we would agree that most men are either obviously balding before age 35 or they're balding slowly the rest of their life, or maybe they don't even lose much hair after that point anyway. 35 is really the determining factor, which goes back to my hair loss theory on the photo of yourself at age 1 is a projection of you, a prediction of you at age 35, which therefore determines whether you're going to be balding your whole life or ultimately keeping the hair that you've got at that status for the rest of your life. But diffuse thinning is definitely the monkey wrench in all this. And to me, it's interesting because, yeah, when you think about it, most men who go bald don't seem to do so after the age of 35. They seem to be doing that before the age of 35. So it is interesting, and I wonder how many other people are in that situation that they don't really start balding until after 35 or maybe in their 40s. I worked with someone who told me that her dad had a full head of hair, perfect head of hair, until he turned 40, and then it just all fell out. I've heard stories like that. I think it's much more uncommon, and I think I'm right there in the midst of it. I mean, I could easily not have much hair because of diffuse thinning by my 40th birthday. I know that. I don't fear it, but I know it. I'm aware of it. And I think that puts me in the minority. I think that's why things are confusing. I think that's why I make a good host for this channel, because usually by now, if to have this much hair at this age, I would be keeping it. But it appears to me, at least, I'm losing more hair. My diffuse thinning is actually getting more aggressive. And it's, again, only because of the length of my hair that's changing that perception at all. So I'm making this video to ask that question, but my theory is that not that many men start actively balding in their later 30s and especially 40s. I can think of examples where men start aggressively balding in their 60s and 70s. Johnny Cash would be a prime example of that. He had a solid head of hair his whole adult life. What, at worst he might have been Norwood too, but by the time he was in his last decade, he basically didn't have any hair on top. That's different. But as far as that happening to someone in their late 30s or 40s, where they have a decent amount of hair and then just start losing it quickly in their late 30s or throughout their 40s, that seems to be a bit uncommon. Let's discuss that in the comments right here.